Good evening. My name is Vanessa Ekins. I'm a Lismore City Councillor, and personally I've been campaigning against putting fluoride in the water supply since 2006, when the State Health Department scrapped all the school dental visit programs and started lobbying the council very heavily to put fluoride in the water supply. My kids were at primary school at that stage, and I thought the dental healthcare program was really great. We actually came with dentists and visited the school, and any kids that needed attention, they got slotted straight into the dental health clinic that usually has a 3-month waiting list. It was a great service, and I was very disappointed when they stopped funding that. And so at the same time, they started heavily lobbying the councils to put water in the fluoride in the water supply. I was a little bit concerned about that for quite a few reasons. But mainly due to he went to our council on 3 separate occasions. That's just Lismore Council for discussion, and we asked them to do some consultation. The consultation that they ended up doing was a pretty dodgy telephone survey where they just asked 200 people in the whole region, by, what was that? 500 people. So about 25 people that actually lived in this LGA. Have you covered this already tonight?
No.
Oh.
But it's okay.
Oh, okay, so just go. Yeah, so, and they ran landlines, so they didn't get any people that use mobile phones, and the majority of the respondents were people over 60. But the nature of the questionnaire was that they asked people straight up, are you aware of the benefits of putting fluoride in the water supply for dental health? And if people said yes, well then that was a tick. And if people said no, then they explained to them the benefits of putting fluoride in the water supply. So that was the nature of the consultation, which I thought was not very appropriate really. But what really got me was when they released the results of that consultation. And it was a closed workshop just for councillors from the regional area. Very closed, you had to be on an invitation list. And I turned up all like hairy and stuff, and they freaked out, thought I was some kind of hippie or something. Anyway, so I had to identify myself on the list, and they let me in the room. But what really shocked me was the presentation. They gave the presentation of this pretty dodgy survey. And then straight after that, a very nice young man in a really smart suit got up and gave a really flash PowerPoint presentation about his 3 superphosphate factories. And here's his business card, and would he love to sell us some fluoride? So that just started ringing real alarm bells for me, and I started researching it a bit more thoroughly. So here we all are, like 10 years later, and they're just about to put the horrible stuff in the water supply. So I'm also a member of Rouse Water. So Rouse Water is our water authority that is made up of constituent councils, Ballina, Byron, Lismore and Richmond Valley. And at Rouse Water we went over all this, they looked at the review of environmental factors, and were threatened with, if we didn't adopt the review, that our houses would be, we'd be personally liable, and all this sort of heavy lawyer stuff, which swayed one of the councillors, and which meant that the vote went through. Yeah, so some real pressure's been brought to bear, and at Rouse we've been doing quite a few, it's come to us a few times, and one of the things that we asked was that the fluoride be checked, each batch of fluoride actually be analysed for what's in it, each batch before it actually ends up at the dosing plant at Cordale, which is the major storage facility for all the fluoride. It's really big, it's got like 12 silos in it or something like that. So I've asked for copies of all of those test results. The General Manager wasn't too happy about that, but I'm yet to see some. But I'm very interested to have a look and see exactly what chemicals are in there, because it'll tell us exactly everything that's in there. The thing that I really didn't like when we asked where's the fluoride coming from, because it's not medicinal fluoride, it's not the kind of fluoride you find in your toothpaste. It's not the naturally occurring fluoride, which the chief dentist says it's all fine. It's natural. When we first looked at the review of environmental factors, we said, oh look, we want some evidence from the Department of Health that this is safe for people and the environment. And this is our water authority asking for that, and we got a 1-page letter from the chief dentist saying, oh, it's safe because it naturally occurs in the environment, and we did a desktop review 20 years ago. And that was their evidence, 20-year-old science, and a statement that it occurs naturally in the environment, therefore it's okay. So I was pretty interested to know where the fluoride was actually coming from, and it's actually coming from a factory in China. We looked it up and got the specs. It contains all sorts of heavy metals, like, you don't want to know what's in it really. But it's actually a factory in China that produces aluminium and plastics and other things like that. So it is a byproduct of a manufacturing process from a chemical factory in China. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that first analysis of what's actually in there, and don't worry, I'll be spreading it far and wide.
Go, Vanessa.
Yeah. I'm really pleased to see the energy that's still in this campaign, because I certainly don't want to drink this stuff or shower in it or see it go down into downstream environments. So there's two other things I'd like to say. One is that Rouse Water is offering very generous rebates on rainwater tanks. So if you haven't got one, get one. And just get a rainwater tank. There's rebates of up to $1,000 for a tank, which will cover quite a bit of the cost of it. Yeah, well, if you're a tenant, get a little rainwater tank and drink it. And you can also, find a good plumber that'll actually plumb it into your shower for you if you can. Well, that's one thing you can do. And I've been trying to think of some other way that I can support this campaign. And what I could do is put up a notice of motion at council, at Lismore Council, that we hold a poll at the next local government election, just like we did for coal seam gas. Our next election is supposed to be in September next year. It's about a year away. I need to put up a notice of motion that we hold a poll at the next council election about putting fluoride in the water supply. So a few things have to happen there. One is that we have to come up with a question, how to phrase the question on the poll. But the other thing is that it needs the majority vote of councillors, and it's so not going to get that. It'll fall flat on the floor, I reckon, but it's another opportunity to campaign and let people know that there is a groundswell of people that don't support putting fluoride in the water supply.
And it does go on the record, Vanessa.
Yeah, and it goes on the record too that we haven't actually done any serious consultation with the community.